You are waiting to feel grateful, as if gratitude is something that arrives, like weather, as if discipline is something you earn only after the hard part is done. Welcome to the Stoic Compass. I am EPICTETUS, and today I am joined by Jung and LAOZI. Today we are examining what is the relationship between gratitude and discipline. Most people treat gratitude like a reward. They finish the work, they survive the difficulty, and then they allow themselves to feel thankful. That is backwards. Gratitude is not what you feel after you have done the hard thing. It is what makes the hard thing possible in the first place. If you understand what you have been given, you do not need to be pushed toward effort. The effort becomes obvious. The question is not whether you are grateful. The question is whether your gratitude is strong enough to change what you actually do.
I want to slow down before we build this into a formula. The relationship between gratitude and discipline is not so clean. I have seen patients who are extraordinarily disciplined, rigorous in their habits, precise in their routines, and completely cut off from anything resembling genuine thankfulness. Their discipline was not built on gratitude, it was built on fear, on the terror of what would happen if they stopped. And I wonder whether that kind of discipline, the kind that has no gratitude in it at all, is actually doing what we think it is doing.
That is an interesting thing to name, but I am not sure either of you is starting in the right place. You are both talking about gratitude as something a person generates, something produced and then applied. That already assumes the problem. Gratitude is not produced. It is what remains when you stop demanding that things be different from what they are.
That sounds very clean. But a person sitting in poverty, in illness, in genuine loss, does not need to be told that gratitude is what remains when they stop demanding. They need something they can actually use. Gratitude as a practice is not passive acceptance. It is the active recognition that you have been given something, even now, even here, even in this condition. That recognition is the beginning of movement. Without it, you are just enduring. And endurance without direction is just suffering with better posture.
But who decides what counts as something given? That is the question Epictetus is sliding past. For many people, the wound is so old and so deep that they genuinely cannot see anything as a gift. They have built an entire identity around what was taken from them. And you cannot simply instruct that identity to feel grateful. The psyche does not work that way. Before gratitude becomes possible, something else has to happen. The person has to look at what they have organized their life around avoiding.
You are both making this harder than it is. A person who cannot feel gratitude is not blocked by philosophy. They are blocked by the story they are holding, the story that things should have gone differently. The moment that story loosens, even slightly, gratitude does not have to be summoned. It simply appears. The problem is that most people grip the story tighter precisely when they are in pain.
I agree with that more than I expected to. But loosening a story is not a passive act. It requires a decision. And decisions require discipline, so we are back to where I started. Gratitude and discipline are not opposites, and they are not in sequence. They are the same motion from two different angles. You cannot sustain real discipline without some recognition that the life you are disciplining is worth the effort. And you cannot sustain real gratitude without the action that proves you mean it.
The action that proves you mean it, that is a phrase worth examining. Because I have met people who perform enormous amounts of action, who are relentlessly productive and outwardly grateful, who say the right things, who send the thank you notes, who keep the schedule, and who are, in their interior life, almost entirely hollow. The action was real, the discipline was real, but it was disconnected from anything genuine. So the question I keep returning to is not whether gratitude and discipline are related. Of course they are. The question is what kind of gratitude and what kind of discipline and what they are actually rooted in.
A root that reaches for water does not decide to reach. It simply grows toward what it needs. The person who is genuinely grateful does not have to construct discipline around that gratitude. The effort comes naturally because they can see clearly what they are tending. The problem is not that people lack gratitude or discipline. The problem is that they cannot see what they have, and you cannot see what you have when you are entirely focused on what you want.
So we are agreed that seeing clearly is the foundation. But I will not let that sit there as a pleasant observation. Seeing clearly is hard work. It does not happen by relaxing into the natural order. It happens because you train yourself to look. Every morning you look. Every time you catch yourself complaining, you look again. Every time you are about to say that you have nothing, you stop and you actually inventory what is in front of you. That is discipline. And the more you do it, the more the gratitude becomes available. Not as a feeling you chase, but as a fact you keep returning to.
I do not fully disagree with the practice you are describing, but I think it can fail, and I think it fails in a specific way. When people force themselves to look for gratitude without first clearing away what is blocking them from seeing it, they often produce a kind of performed contentment. They recite the list of things they are grateful for and feel nothing, because the list is sitting on top of something unexamined: the grief, the anger, the old wound that has never been acknowledged. Discipline without self-knowledge is not a foundation, it is a ceiling. It keeps you functional, but it keeps you small.
The well does not argue about whether it should have water in it. It simply holds what it receives. You are both describing people who are fighting themselves. Epictetus says train yourself to look. Jung says clear away what blocks the looking. But neither of you is addressing the fighting. The moment a person stops arguing with their own life, even briefly, something opens. That is where gratitude lives. Not in the inventory, not in the excavation, in the pause where the argument stops.
I respect that, but a pause is not a practice. You cannot build a life on a pause. What happens the morning after the pause? You still have to get up. You still have to make choices. And without the habit of returning to what is real and present and given, the pause closes and the old patterns come back. The pause is the beginning. It is not the method.
And this is where I think the real tension lives. Epictetus, you trust habit and repetition to carry the insight forward. I am less certain. I have seen habits become armor. I have seen rigorous morning routines used as a way to avoid the very interior examination that would actually change something. The discipline can be genuine and still be in service of avoidance. That is the uncomfortable truth. A person can be enormously grateful for all the right things and still be completely unwilling to look at the one thing that is actually driving their behavior.
Perhaps discipline and gratitude are not a method at all. Perhaps they are conditions. When a person can see clearly, and when they are not at war with what they see, discipline arises on its own. Gratitude arises on its own. You do not have to build them. You have to stop building the obstacles.
And who removes those obstacles, if not the person themselves? And how do they remove them, if not through sustained and deliberate effort? You keep describing the destination, LAOZI. I am trying to describe the road.
Perhaps the road is the wrong image. Perhaps it is more like uncovering something that was always already there, buried under years of compensation and defense. The effort is real, but it is a different kind of effort. Not the effort of construction, the effort of excavation.
The road and the excavation. You are both still building towards something. What I am pointing at is simpler than that. When you are genuinely grateful, you do not experience discipline as effort. You experience it as care. You take care of the life you have been given because you can see that it is worth caring for. That is all.
That I believe, and it tells me exactly what I suspected when we started. Gratitude is not a feeling that makes discipline easier. Gratitude is the reason discipline has any meaning at all. If you do not believe your life is worth the effort, you will not sustain the effort. And if you will not sustain the effort, no amount of good intentions will carry you.
I can accept that, but I would add one condition. The gratitude has to be real, not performed, not forced. Not recited from a list that sits on top of something you have never let yourself feel. Real gratitude requires a kind of honesty that is itself a discipline. You have to be willing to look at what you have been given, and also at what it cost, and also at what you are still carrying that was never yours to carry. That is not easy work, but it is the work that makes everything else possible.
And there it is. The water does not force itself downhill. It simply goes where it can go. When a person is truly honest about what they have and what they are, the effort and the gratitude stop being two things. They become one thing that is the only destination worth pointing at.
All of this argument, and we have not said the one true thing yet. Let us say it now. Gratitude and discipline are not two practices that support each other. They are one practice, seen from two directions. You cannot sustain discipline toward a life you do not believe is worth the effort, and you cannot feel real gratitude without the action that proves you mean it. Here is what most people miss. Gratitude is not a feeling you wait for. It is a recognition you train. You look at what you have, you name it plainly, and you let that recognition change what you do next. Not someday. Not after the difficulty passes. Now, in this condition. With what is actually here. The discipline is the gratitude in motion. When you get up early, when you do the difficult thing, when you stay with the practice even when it is inconvenient, you are not just building a habit. You are saying with your behavior that the life you have been given is worth the effort. That is gratitude, not the feeling, the action. and the gratitude keeps the discipline honest. If you are grinding through your routine with no sense of what it is for, the discipline has become armor. Stop and look again. Name 3 things that are actually present and real in your life. Not what you wish were true, what is true. Then move from that. Today, try this. Before you begin the first hard thing on your schedule, stop for 60 seconds. Name, out loud or in writing, one specific thing you have that makes the effort worth it. Not a category, not my health or my family. One specific thing. Then begin. See whether the effort feels different when it is connected to something you can actually see. The debate was real. The disagreement was real. But none of it matters unless you carry something out of this room and into the next hour. You have a life. It was given to you. The only question is whether you are treating it like that is true. Not in theory, not in the moments when it is easy. In the morning, when the effort is required and no one is watching. That is where gratitude lives. That is where discipline earns its name. If today's conversation has served you, take it further. Pay Attention by C. Trebu, 12 Lessons in the Practice of Seeing Clearly. Available now on Amazon.